What's up YouTube, Brian here, back again with another high-end rod review video. It is Black Friday 2020, Finn is in the building. We're going to talk about the Megabass P5 Destroyer Landsat review. First off, just want to give a quick shout out to my Instagram. You should hit me up and follow me. It is @Fishing. The link is in the description. Also, while you're out looking around for Black Friday deals, please check out Omni Fishing. They are giving 20% off site-wide right now. And if you're a member, you get another 10% back in credits into your account. So you're essentially going to get 30% with any purchase you're making through their Black Friday deal. So please check them out. Now that that's out of the way, this is a review that I've been kind of hemming and hawing about for a while, because we're going to go a little deep into drop shotting and drop shot rods, and we're going to talk about Megabass, and we're going to talk about NRX. So first off, I want to talk about just this rod, the Megabass P5 Landsat. So this is an F3 611, which...
Mom, Dad's crying again.
Babe, you watched this like 15 times and you still cry.
I can't help it. I mean, they were right here.
Honey.
Sounds awful familiar. Most of you know the F3 611 as the whip snake. So same specs essentially as a whip snake, and we're going to bring up this rod quite a bit when we're talking about this rod, because in my opinion, the Landsat is essentially a whip snake on a diet and a big price bump. So the whip snake retails at $300. It's in the Orochi series. It's been out for a while. The Orochi XX line is a little long in the tooth for Megabass standards, but it is a really good rod line. So the whip snake's been out for a minute. The Landsat is the new hotness. This is the brand new version of this rod. I'd say the blanks and the actions are actually really similar, with maybe a little minute differences here and there. But this is a whip snake on a diet. And when I say whip snake on a diet, let me go through some of the weight differences here, because I think that's a very key thing when you're looking at the Landsat versus the NRX versus a Destroyer Adamine versus a whip snake, or maybe even some of the Levante rods. The P5s are light. Megabass, when they drop these P5 rods, these things are NRX Conquest level lightness, finally. So you're paying out the nose for these things. This rod is a nauseating $475 MSRP, but this rod weighs, I got the numbers written down, I'm gonna get this right. On my scale, with no reel and nothing on the rod, no hook keeper or anything, it weighed in at 3.49 ounces. So 3.49. The Orochi whip snake is 4.18. So 4.18 ounce, 3.49 ounce. Now let's get a comparison real quick. The NRX 822 drop shot rod, like what everyone considers one of the best drop shot rods in the world, this thing is one of the lightest rods I've ever owned. I mean, this thing weighs like a feather, because there's really not much to it. But this rod weighs in at 3.26 ounce. So 3.26, 3.49, and then the whip snake is at 4.18. And just for comparisons, the Adamine, which I actually picked up pretty recently, the Adamine is 4.31 ounces. So this thing is a tank compared to the Landsat. And the Adamine is also a 611, yep. So 611, same lengths, 611 3.5 power. So this is 1 power higher than the Landsat, but it is 4.18 ounces versus 3.49 ounces. So this thing is light, crazy light. So shout out to Megabass for finally getting a really lightweight rod out there for the high prices. So let's talk about the Landsats. Let's talk about the P5s in general versus the US destroyers, or even just the previous destroyer models. So the biggest differences between this rod and this rod is the fit and finish is completely different. This rod is very blingy, lots of gold accents, lots of flourishes in the guide wrappings. The guides themselves have way more material in the epoxy and the wrappings. So when you compare, like, let's just look at the guide wrappings between these two. So if you notice, look how much less material there is on the Landsat on the top versus the Adamine on the bottom. So they just use a lot less material on the P5s. So if you want more of a muted, less flashy look, the entire P5 series is that. The destroyers, and these are the outgoing models, so these US destroyers are actually being discontinued, and these remodels, the models in the US Destroyer line are going to be relaunched on this P5 platform. So you're going to have an FMJ on the P5, and you're going to have a Javelin on the P5, but that stuff's not going to be out, I heard, until late 2021, maybe early 2022. So if you can find these US Destroyers on sale over the winter, jump on them, because these rods are going away and they're going to be rebooted and probably going to be more expensive. So grab these while you can. So anyway, the P5 is an evolution from the previous Destroyer models. The fit and finish is much more muted. There's less going on material-wise, and the handles are the biggest difference. I mean, look at the difference in the handle from the Addermine to the Landsat. You notice there's a lot less cork. The grips are much smaller. Here, let's go to the back. So that's the lock nut difference. So the lock nuts are lined up at the back. The old Destroyer handles are much bigger. And then look at the butt. The P5s have little teeny butts. A lot of people are like, I don't like the little tiny butt handles on the whole series. Now, Megabass downsized the butt handles on the P5s, but they added weights. There's weight inside the butt handles to give these things better balance without having more material. So on the old Destroyers, they had a lot of material down here to counterbalance. Megabass said, hey, let's make really small butts, but let's throw weights in there, and that'll give us the balance. So there's the big differences between the US Destroyer and the P5. I don't know if anyone's really held these up and compared them anywhere on the internet before, but to me, I think that's a fairly significant difference. Now, grip-wise, I like the old grips better, because as you know, if you watch my channel, I choke up. So when I'm choking up on the Addermine or any Destroyer or Orochi that has this big grip, this is perfect for me. You get your two fingers right on the cork, you can choke up and not have to touch the rod blink, which I find really, really comfortable. So the handles, I've never had a complaint on the Destroyer or the Orochi spinning rod handles. Love them, always will love them. I think they were one of the best designs out there. Super great. When the P5s came out, I was like, oh, why did they ruin the handle? The handle on the old Megabass spinning rods is awesome. Why did they go to this little, it's like a little sliver of cork here, a little sliver of cork on the lock nut on the back, and then this kind of like really chunk of plastic in the middle. I don't know what they're calling this thing. This is a Megabass design. They don't outsource their, they don't buy from a supplier like Fuji when they use their grips. They make their own. Now, in practice, how does this grip feel? It's okay. I will say the middle part here where you put your middle fingers on is super, super comfortable. When I'm choking up, I'm still kind of getting my fingers, well here, let me choke up. When I choke up, I'm still getting my fingers kind of here on the blank material, which I don't love. I really wish that this cork was maybe another ½ inch higher, there's a little more there, so that my index finger and my thumb could really get on the cork instead of the blank. So I will say in the grip, I don't love the new P5 grips for spinning rods. On the casting rods, they're great, I love them. On the spinning rods, I'm not in love with this. I give this like,
Click the link to shop dining room tables starting at just $1.99 and sofas starting as low as $3.49. Plus, Ashley Home Store has financing options for all budgets. Shop the sale and clearance event. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
What's up, guys? It's Vegas Dave, and today is a very special day. It's my birthday, and I turned 44 years old today. And I'm going to give back this year for my birthday. And what I'm going to give back is the most iconic sports card box in the history of the world. 86
It's not as good as the old ones. I still like the old ones better. This is, to me, is not an improvement. It's actually a step backwards as far as just comfortability, or as far as comfort. Now, balance-wise, even with the way more minimalist grip and the teeny tiny little white girl booty on the back here, the balance point is fantastic. And this is with a Tatula LT 3000 spinning reel. So this is a lightweight spinning reel, you know, which most people are going to throw on these things. And let's check the balance. So with a pretty short grip and a pretty minimalistic handle, that weight that's down on the butt really does make a difference. This thing is balanced superbly for a 6'11" lightweight spinning rod. I mean, that is really, really good. So when I have my fingers on there, my front index finger is basically right on the balance point. When you're holding this rod, it's extremely well balanced. So I got to give a shout out that the balance on this thing is great. Fit and finish is fantastic. Price point, $475 is a ransom for these things. I think that price is really, really high. Even at 20% off, you're still looking at a fairly expensive rod. The warranty hasn't changed. It's still the same Megabass warranty where you have to be the original owner and you have to have a receipt to get a free replacement. You get one free replacement if you break it, no questions asked. And I think that's only in the first year, but check the Megabass warranty website. It's not great. So they haven't made improvements in the warranty. Now, guide-wise, they do not have Torzite. The P5s, I believe, are using a what's called SIC-S guide material. I think it's the same material that's on the Poison Adrenas. So you're getting a titanium SIC-S guide train, so no Torzite for the money. So St. Croix, you're still getting a Torzite guide train in a $400 ride if you go to Legend X or Legend Elites. So to me, that's still a really good buy. Now let's talk about this particular rod's action. And that is where this rod shines. So this rod is kind of labeled as being a drop shot rod. Now this rod has the typical Megabass 3-power spinning rod, deep parabolic action. So when you bend test this rod, the tip is going literally all the way down. You're getting bend in the tip all the way from the tip all the way down to the second guide from the bottom. So you're not hitting the backbone on this rod till about right here. And under full load, you're actually getting a little bend past this first guide. So this whole front half, I mean this right here, that is all tip. It's really, really deep down to about right here. So this action is extremely similar to